set of a movie called Runaway Train with John Boyd and Eric Roberts. I walked on the movie set. I thought it was the cutest thing I'd ever seen in my life. And all these guys were like dressed like prisoners. And they were all like walking around. It's funny. It's like, hey, mother, does this look tough? I go, yeah, you'd be somebody's wife in prison. I kept like touching their tattoos. I go, hey, oh man, all their tattoo smeared. You know, you better get some better ink. You know. And they all had fake tattoos. And I've never seen so many teardrops in my life. And I've been in every prison in California. And this guy comes up and says, hey, do you want to be in this movie? And I said, what do I got to do? He says, do you want to be an extra? And I said, extra what? You know what he was talking about? You know, he said, can you act like a convict? Let's not give it a shot. I mean, it's like, it's funny. I've been in every penitentiary in the state of California. And so I took off my shirt. They gave me a blue shirt. I saw that tattoo. I'll never forget. He goes like this. He goes, wait. What stupid game is that? That was my neighborhood. I'd change it, you know. And this other guy comes over and says, hey, you're Danny Trejo. And I go, yeah. He says, I saw you in the lightweight and the welterweight battle up in San Quentin. I go, yeah. I said, you're Eddie Bunker. I knew this guy. This guy was in prison with me. And I said, what are you doing here, Eddie? He says, I adapted the screenplay. I didn't know what that meant. You know what I mean? He said, I adapted the screenplay. I thought, yeah, you still boxing? I go, nah, I'm training. But I don't like getting in the face anymore. And he said, we need somebody to train one of the actors how to box. And I said, what's it pay? And he said, $320 a day. And I said, how bad do you want me to beat this guy up? 320? Jesus, they want me to kick some ass. He said, no, you gotta be real careful because actors are little high, strong men might sock you. I said, shit, for $320, give him a stick. Beat up for free, man. And I started training Eric Roberts how to box for the movie Runaway Train. The director saw me and liked the fact that Eric would do what I told him to do and hired me. All of a sudden I was like, I went from hey you to Mr. Trejo. And you know, like the rest is history. I just kept on working and working and working. And it was funny, what really set me on being an actor is they told me $320 a day. I worked for 3 weeks and I added up 320, 320, 320, 320, and I didn't know about OT and about forced calls and about golden time. I didn't know about it. We worked 16 hours every day. I didn't know. So when I looked at my check, I went, damn, and I stashed it and I broke to the bank. I could have cashed it before anybody found out they fucked up. My partner stopped me and he said, no, you're right. Man, this is great. So I just kept on doing it, man. I kept going from movie to movie to movie. I was usually like inmate number 1, bad guy number 1, tattoo guy number 1. So you know, it's like I thought I had a career. I didn't know I was typecast. I didn't know what typecast was. The first time I was interviewed, Danny, aren't you afraid of being typecast? And I said, as what? And they said, well, you're always playing the mean Chicano dude with tattoos. I am the mean Chicano. What the hell? Somebody finally got it right. And that's actually how I got into the movies, you know. I'm here.
Look, Danny, speaking of you being the hard-ass, badass of all the movies, 9 out of 10 times if I ask somebody who's the nicest person you meet at a con, it's you. I mean, you're the nicest, sweetest guy that I hear about. Not the badass.
Don't say sweet. Just say nice. Nice.
I mean, well, the lady said you were sweet, the nice guy, you know. But, I mean, getting into the whole convention scene, you know, what's it like for you, being at conventions, getting to meet your fans? I mean, how's that affect you personally?
I love this more than anything I do. It's just, it's like when you're running down the street or you're running for a plane, it's hard to like stop and sign autographs sometimes. You know, and I hate saying no. You know, what I mean, I'll sign every autograph, every picture I can do. You know, and so here it's like that's what I'm here for. You know, I'm not here. I'm here to sign autographs. I'm here to chit chat. I'm here to take pictures. So I love it. I walk around and I buy stuff too. You know, and I love this thing because it gets you up close and personal.
So as someone who spoke at schools and juvenile detention centers, what questions did you get asked most often? And, you know, what really, if any one case really jumped out at you that you really wanted to know?
A lot of them. Yeah. The blessing that I have is especially when you talk to young people, you know, it's like first you've got to get their attention, which is impossible because they have none. And then you've got to keep their attention, which due to number one, it's impossible. And then you've got to show them you're cool. And you might really be cool, but if you're 10 years older than any young person, you're just not cool. It's that simple. I don't care who you are. You're just not cool. And then you deliver your message. My message is, if you take drugs and alcohol out of your life, any problem you have will get better. And education is the key to anything you want to do. That's the message that I give. Anybody can deliver that message. Only problem is we got 1, 2, and 3. You're not cool, they don't listen, and they have no attention span. The blessing that I have is that when I walk onto a campus, a juvenile hall, a prison, I have their attention immediately, everybody's. And not Danny Trejo, but the guy from Con Air, the guy from Heat, the guy from Desperado, the guy from Spy Kids, the guy from Blood In, Blood Out. Oh, there's that dude. Oh, you don't know that dude on a turtle sheet. Come on. They want to hear what that guy has to say. And they listen. You know, I mean, I've had incidents where I was in Inglewood, which is a pretty, rough neighborhood, and people are basically in school to stay away from home for, 5, 6 hours. It's a terrible situation, and they had like 1,500 kids in an auditorium, and it was just like chaos, and it was funny. It's like the teachers are screaming and yelling and trying to get these kids to be quiet. I walked out on stage and just got quiet, and they didn't. The teachers got scared. I just started saying, man, this is what's going to happen. And so it's like most of the questions that I get. First one is how did you get in the film? Because they know where I came from, and they all of a sudden I'm in movies, and I tell them that everything good that has happened to me has happened as a direct result of helping someone else, and I think that's how the good Lord, whatever you want to say, intends us to live, helping one another. That's the way it's supposed to be. So, Carmen, I don't know, Connie, I don't know what it is. Carmen, but it's like, what you put out, you get back. And it's not like putting money in the bank. It's that, like, I'm surrounded with people that feel the same way. The better we are to people, the better things happen. It just keeps on, keeps on. That's the way my life is.
It just keeps perpetuating.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this then. I mean, somebody who speaks at schools and has done all this positive stuff, put it out in the world, what's it do to you whenever it comes back? When somebody comes to you and says, directly because of you speaking to me, it's speaking to my school, it coming in counseling, how's that affect you personally?
It's overwhelming. I mean, I've been, late at night at an all-night market, and one of the managers comes up and says, hey, Danny, I heard you talk in juvenile hall when I was 16. I got a wife and kid, I'm doing great, I can stop getting in trouble. It's like, well, there's no greater feeling in the world. I have, I think, 11 detox facilities, and so, a lot of the dope things that come over and say, hey, I'm doing good, and stuff like that. It's just like overwhelming. It's almost like knowing, God's winking his eye at you, saying, all right, you're doing a good job, punk.
So what point in your life, jail sentence, did you really decide that you need to get straight and you want to help people out?
Actually, I was pretty insane. I was in prison, and 5 de Mayo, 1968. And everybody thinks that 5 de Mayo means 5th of May. But if you're a real Mexican, it means you better get bail money. Because 5 de Mayo, you commit some felony, some kind of. And there was a big prison riot that was blamed on me, Ray Pacheco, and Henry Quijada. And inciting a riot is not like a good crime. And then it was alleged that I hit Lieutenant Gibbons in the head with a rock, which is a gas chamber offense because you draw blood on an officer. It was also alleged that Ray Pacheco shot a free person, which is also a gas chamber offense. And it was alleged that Henry Quijada ruptured Coach Strawmeyer, kicked him in the nuts. So basically, we were awash, and we're sitting in the hole, and I remember seeing a prison movie when I was a young kid, and I remember this guy going to the gas chamber, and he was supposed to be like this real tough guy from this gang, and he started screaming and yelling and peed his pants, and then the guys that really idolized him were talking about, well, he's a punk, he went out like a bitch.
Angels with dirty faces.
Wow, that was a while back, man. And I just said, what, dear Heavenly Father, man, let me die with some dignity. Let me just die with some dignity. And I don't want the guys talking about I went out like a lady. I don't mean anything against ladies. Just a week. I went out a week, and I promise you that the rest of the time I'm on earth, I will say your name every day, and I will do whatever I can for my fellow man. I thought, I had maybe at the most 2-3 years. You know what I mean? I could do that for 2-3 years. Well, by the grace of God, Lieutenant Gibbons said one of these 3 individuals threw a rock. So, first year law student, throw that out. So it was a DJ reject. The free person that Ray hit would not come to the joint. That was a DA reject. And Coach Strawmeyer was in Europe somewhere. So basically, they were all DJ rejects. And it's tough to get a witness in a prison of only 6,000. Especially when everybody saw it. And so I basically have been here since 1968 on God's time, saying his name every day, and you won't see me in a bad mood too often. It's because it's like I think that day, that day's the day that I just said, what, I'm either going to die in prison or I'm going to change my life. And I took drugs and alcohol out of my life. I've been sober and clean since 1968.
Well, let me ask you this, Danny. Growing up with a father in film has obviously had an impact on your son Gilbert. He's working on movies with you, with writer-director Frankie Latina. What advice would you give young filmmakers trying to get a budget together and create their first feature film?
Do it. They got new shit going on. My son, Gilbert, they raised $90,000 on Quick Chick or Quick Kickstarter, yeah. And you know,
Where's Quick Chick? I want to meet her.
Me too, man. 90,000. It was like funny because you know, they were talking about it, and Gilbert was writing this movie called Snapshot, and it was had a great story, you know. And it was just, and I said, "Am I gonna be in it?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Am I gonna get paid?" "Oh, you'll be like that to your son, huh?" Anyway, so I said, "What's your budget?" We started talking. Said, they didn't have a dime. So I said, "You know what? Do you want me to get some people together?" He said, "You know what, Dad? We're gonna try to do this." And they went on Kickstart and they raised 90 grand. And I said, "Shit, I must go on Kickstart." And they raised 90 grand, and so they did it in Milwaukee because Frankie Latina is from Milwaukee and he gets a lot of favors from people and stuff. And this movie is turning out pretty damn good. I was in Milwaukee last week, and my son was like, you know, the proudest day of my life. Hearing my son go, "Okay, action!" And you know, damn, my son is directing. So I do my role, and then my son had me going, "Dad, don't overdo it, please." Shut up! Your father. I had to say that. You know. But we had a blast, man. So you know, yeah, I think whatever you do, whatever you do is going to affect the people around you. My daughter's been in 3 or 4 movies with him. She was in Machete. She was the machine gun toting mechanic. And it's funny because you know how to shoot a machine gun, Dad? Yeah, my dad said. I had a blast doing that. So I think whatever you do, and it's like you influence the people around you.
Just find a way to do it, get the money, whatever you got to do.
They did it, so I'm like, cool. I didn't get paid.
So what goes into your decision process and when you're accepting a role for a film?
Well, you know what? My agency, you know, has a lot to do with that. Because we get 20 scripts a week, you know, so they kind of go through them and they'll like pick out 3 and give me a synopsis, you know. And you know, at my stage of the career, I do which one pays the most, you know. And then I'll do about 4 major movies, and then the rest of the year I'll do like low budget and student film. Whatever we got, I love doing student film. I love doing.
Is that sort of a way to give back for all that you've done?
Yeah, it's kind of the best way I can to do that.
That's awesome. Now, let me ask you this, okay? You had another Gilbert in your life, your Uncle Gilbert, and you know, he got you introduced to drugs and alcohol at a really young age. Like 8 years old, you were smoking weed.
Yeah.
You know, if that didn't happen in your life, if the events that didn't take place, you know, if they did take place, if they didn't, where do you think your life would have ended up? What do you think you would have been doing?
Well, you know, it's like we're all on a path, and it doesn't matter, you know, what we do. It's like we gotta like, oh, that's not God.
He's cool with you.
You know, I think the only thing that was gonna beat me to prison anyway was like the headlights on the bus. You know, that was about it. I wasn't real social. I didn't play well with others ever, you know, and you know, my uncle was just there. He was just like the catalyst, I guess, that set things off. You know, but I honestly believe that, you know, drugs and alcohol were rampant in my family, so you know, I would have caught that bug, you know, one way or another. Gilbert just kind of gave me the tools to survive in the life that I chose. He always used to say, try to remember that if you're on a pile of shit, it's best to be on top. I'll never forget that. That was his saying about prison. Remember, if you're in a pile of shit, it's best to be on top. I love that.
So no matter what, because of just growing up in the neighborhood and everything, you think you would have ended up there anyway and God would have put you on that path?
Yeah, I did, just personality-wise, just social-wise, and it's not good. I think, it's not, I don't know how to say, it's not where you go, it's where you're going.
It's the destination.
It's a destination. And, when I realized that helping other people was what I was supposed to do, so life got a lot better.
So you've worked with a laundry list of actors. If you could say maybe your favorite one or two that you worked with, who would they be?
Man, I love Robert De Niro. I mean, he can do it. It's like fun watching him. You know what I mean? I'll never forget what we were doing Heat. How do you want to put this? I don't know, Bob. What do you think? Well, I think this death scene, you're already dead. Only breath you have is just to tell me to kill you. What do you think? Just for a split second, I wanted to say, nah, I don't see it that way, Bob. Just for a split, I go, yes, that's the way I see it. That death scene came out awesome, and then it was funny because when I met him on Machete, when he did Machete, he comes up and goes, hey, you, you, number one on the call sheet, you. All right, Machete, what do you think? Would you like some coffee, Mr. De Niro? It's hard to say you're the lead with him around. He was awesome. Him and like Val Kilmer's been a hero of mine from the time, why, Johnny Ringo looks like someone just walked over your grave. God, that he was the best Doc Holliday ever. And then, just recently, man, I got to work with Charlie Sheen. God.
I test in Machete Kills Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson, yeah. I had a sword fight with Mel Gibson in Machete Kills, and when Robert yelled, action, I threw down my sword, and Robert, what's wrong? I'm not fighting William Wallace, are you crazy? Free Scotland! Mel cracked up, he's got a great sense.
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, switching gears a little bit, 99% of the time, you are the hard-ass mother in the movie. You're going to be in the new Muppets movie, man. Muppets Most Wanted. How did you get involved with that?
Funny, somebody asked me, would I ever be in a Muppets movie? I said, yeah, if they go to prison. Just joking. In this movie, they go to prison. And I was in the last one, but they cut me out of it. I'm in the DVD part, you know what I mean? And it's funny because when they asked me again, I get cut out of that. No, we guarantee you. So me and Ray Liotta, two of the baddest mothers in Hollywood, we're like with the Muppets. I'm telling you, you can't help. I don't know the word. I don't know the word, but you can't help getting like a little flamboyant. No, we're like singing and dancing with the Muppets, right? And you forget this is a puppet. You know, I'll tell you a little personal story. While I was in England doing the Muppets, my mom passed away. Craig, my guy comes up and tells me, and they're making arrangements for me to fly back. Trying to figure out what to do. I got about a week and a half left to this, and so I'm going to fly back to America, I'm just done. Thank God, Mary, in particular, my secretary, she calls and says, hey, we've got everything handled. There's absolutely no reason for you to come back right now. Just finish your job. We got it. Don't worry. Everything's taken. So I was doing this. I was being really strong, you know, and I was like, you know, people were coming up and hugging me. They were in tears. They were really sorry to hear this. I was doing that, you know, yeah, it's a better place. Good. Okay. It's the way of the world. I was so strong. So a fucking little frog came up. the guy in Kermit came up and said, you really cry about your mom. The frog cried. My mom said, I know my mom. All right, oh, you're just being so tough. So my mom said it, and I just hugged that frog, and I just, it's like they were so great. Everybody was so great. When you see, if you don't do anything next year, see the Muppets, because it is going to be a hilarious, funny, I don't think there's anything that funny. Thank you.
So, you know, my first experience with you was in Desperado, coming up with the knives, throwing it into the limo, just this badass. But then you have Spy Kids, where it's more of a comedy role. What do you prefer, if any? Do you like the action role more, or is it a nice change of pace for the comedy?
You know, I love action. I love action. Don't take me to a drama, because I'll disturb everybody, you know. I'm that guy that's, oh, God. Now they're kissing. It's like, I just, you know, like I love drama movies, blow up stuff, shoot people, you know. Machete Kills, I think me and Jessica Alba kill about 12 people the first 30 seconds of the movie. That's like my kind of movie. They use, I think, 26 gallons of blood the first half of the movie. It's like, and so it's like, I love action movies. You know? I did a drama once called Sherry Baby. I didn't want to do it. They made me do it. And it was like, I got to go all over the world. People loved that movie. It was really, really good with Maggie Gyllenhaal. And, you know, she was like awesome to work with. But there was one scene where, you know, I mean, no action, no fights. So I'm supposed to pound on this door to a motel where she's in because she's like loaded. And so I told this one guy next door, right, this motel, so I'm going to pound on this door. You come out and say, hey, shut up! And then we'll fight. And then, so, you know, bang, 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 bang. And this guy opens the door, hey! I start fighting. And Lori Collier, I was going to say the attorney, the director, says, cut! Gary, that's not in the movie. Well, we had an absolute blast, dude. But I do prefer action.
You prefer a good action movie, all right?
Real quick, Alexa Vega, you worked with her in Spy Kids and now in Machete Kills. What was it like to see her progress in her career?
You know what? I gotta be honest. I still saw her as 12 years old. Okay, it was like really funny because she had to beg Robert Rodriguez for this role, and the role was only like probably a half an hour to shoot. You know, at first it was a quick, 30-second spot on film, and she was like, with Robert, hey, Robert, come on, give me this role, and no way, it's like an adult role. I'm 25! Well, how'd that happen? You know, I literally still saw her. Robert says, okay, it's a short role. If you can do it, you can either stay in front or stay in back, whatever you want to do. Go ahead. So she comes out in these chaps with no back end. And it was kind of like seeing your daughter for the first time coming out in a bikini to go to the beach. You know what I mean? Like the first time. Are you, get your, no way! There's a huzzy, you know what I mean? She walked out and she just owned it. You have to understand, the movie, everybody has seen her grow up and she just owned it. She was comfortable, made everybody else comfortable. In fact, about 45 minutes, we were teasing, okay, we're gonna do a calendar. Spy Kids grown up and stuff. But she just, I mean, we had Sofia Vergara, we had Amber Heard, we had Jessica Alba, we had Michelle Rodriguez, Vanessa Hudgens, and Alexa held her own with all of them. You know what I mean? She was just right up, nobody outshined her. And when you see the movie, you'll see that. Damn! So anyway, she's not a Spy Kid anymore.
Well, I'll say this, 7 out of the 8 movies we just talked about in the past 4 minutes were directed by Robert Rodriguez. And you guys go back, way back. What, if any, involvement do you have, or has he told you about El Rey Network coming out?
Well, right now he's shooting From Dusk to Dawn, the TV series.
Right.
And that starts in the bar. Razor Charlie, thank you. This bar is for bikers and truckers only. And so, yeah, I'm in that. So we're like just having fun, anticipating. I'll be in Austin for a couple of months.
You guys started filming?
Yeah,
I started
shooting. You already started shooting. My stuff won't come till later.
Okay.
You'll bring me in when I have a little time off.
And a lot of it's going to be like sports and just exclusive stuff on the show.
Oh yeah,
There's a lot of Latin-based stuff.
There's going to be so much stuff. In fact, it's like any one of you that's got like some ideas, send him into it because he's looking for material. And I've got like 2 scripts that I did. I wrote a script once called My Father's Flag. It's about a Vietnam veteran coming back, and then I wrote another one called the Big House. What the hell was big? About San Quentin, but it's funny. I know it's hard to believe, but it's a comedy about San Quentin called South Block, and so he's looking at those right now. See what happened?
Right on.
And right now, I just finished a sitcom with George Lopez called St. George. And yeah, some funny shit. Damn. I swear, that dude is hilarious.
So you had been in the film industry for a while, and you got hooked up with Rodriguez. Did you know right off the bat that there was something special about him?
Yeah, right up. When I walked into his office, and the first thing he said was, "You remind me of the bad guys in my high school." And I said, "I am the bad guys in your high school." We just hit it off, and like, it was funny because when we were down in Acuña, Mexico, which is on the border of Texas and Del Rio, Texas and Mexico, his family came down from San Antonio to visit him. My family came down, found out it was the same family, so we found out we were like second cousins, and so I said, okay, like the limo part, let's stretch it out a little. But we just hit it off. That's when he asked me about Machete. I mean, he said, "Danny, I got a role for you. I want you to do, and you don't even have to act. You just show up." Okay. And we talked about Machete ever since.
Now with he's one of my favorite directors as well as Quentin. What's it like with those two on set together? I mean, do they bounce ideas off of each other?
If they're talking and you stand in between them, you'll get electrocuted. It's so funny. You can be sitting at lunch with them and drop an idea, just anything. What about a water tower falling over? By the end of that dinner, they have a movie. It's all around this water tower. They're like just bang, bang, bang. It's like shit just comes out of their head. Robert's funny. I mean, Robert is like real quiet, real low key. Quentin is like, like, but to watch him, it's like amazing.
As an actor, I mean, you've tackled some roles, man. Is there any type of role in particular you'd like to get your hands on, something you haven't done yet?
I love Western. I just love Western. I did a Western with Mickey Rourke that just came out. It's called Dead in Tombstone. And I realized how much I love Westerns. And it's me, Mickey Rourke, Tina Fey, God, what's this kid's name? Who was the goofy kid from,
That's how goofy he is.
yeah, but and he's in it, and it's this unbelievable like story, and it just worked out really, really good. Tina Fey, I remember her from Starship Troopers. I mean, not Tina.
Tina's in the Muppet movie, man.
Tina's in the Muppet movie. And this girl's name is
Denise Richards?
Mia Myers. Denise Myers.
Dina Myers.
Dina Myers, yeah. In Starship, she stole it. She was fine. And then I seen her, and she's still like looks like the same. So in this one, she's like just like awesome. And we had a lot of fun. We're in Romania. Okay, Dead in Tombstone in Romania.
So at this point in your life, with the counseling, the acting career, what are you most proud of accomplishing?
I think my kids. Honest to God, I think
That's a great answer, everybody.
It doesn't matter what you do. Day's end is like, how they doing. And like, my daughter's going to college and just wants to, get into acting. That's cool. Do it. Just finish her school and we'll do it. And then my son is doing it. Like shit, action. And Danny boy, he's like 32. What's the date? Okay, November 20th. He's going to be 32. And it's like he's in electronics. He said, "Hey, Dad, I want to come down and work for you." I said, "Come on, shit, let's do it. Figure out what we're doing." So basically, it's like I think I'm most proud of them guys, my accomplishments.
I'll tell you what, I got one more question before we open it up to the audience, but I got to ask. You do a lot of motivational speaking, you go to places, and you inspire people not just to get better, but inspire people to help other people get better. What advice would you give somebody, one piece of advice would you give somebody that's trying to get on the path to helping other people? How to make it easy on them.
You know what? It's like everybody thinks that like helping people is like the easiest thing in the world. You start by saying good morning to people. We don't even say good morning anymore. We don't even say hello. I was like, you watch me over there. I say good morning. I say hello. I wave at people. I'll go and shake people's hand. And a lot of times they don't know how to handle it, it's like my friends. We got a truck. That means we have to help people move. Automatic. You got a pickup truck. You got to help people move. You just do. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people have a pickup truck and don't. And it's like, where do you get a pickup truck? People with sports cars don't have friends. So it's like, that's all my life is. It's like about helping. It's about, God, man, it's like my neighborhood. It's like, this friend of mine just passed away, Joey. They called me this morning. This guy been my friend since he was 14, died of cancer. So the first thing you do is I called up my friends and say, go over to Joey's and see what his wife needs. See, because, if somebody passes away, everybody's that's emotionally involved is just screwed up. They don't know what to do. So you send some people over there that are not as emotionally involved. You know, but just somebody that go, hey, we have to do this, we have to do this, we can do this. And, you know, we got to get chairs. Well, I have a truck. I'll go get the chairs. It just makes you feel better.
So basically use common sense and know what your strengths are and pass it on.
That's it. God.
I appreciate that. Let's open it up to the audience.
Nice to see you again. I'm Andrew. This is Cameron. He's actually got a question for you. I'm just sitting right here. Is easier.
Hey Danny, you mentioned earlier that you were always willing to work with film majors. You're trying not to geek out too much. You're looking at two right here. We were wondering if maybe we could talk to you after the Q&A about possibly working.
All you got to do is call Gloria. He knows at 323-939-1188. That's how we do it. It's like, I have like no idea what my schedule is.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I didn't know I was coming to Chicago till like 3 days ago. So finally, you're booked for Chicago. So it's like, that's the way it's got to be done. Call her. And if they can squeeze us in, I'd love to do it.
All right. Can we get that number again at your table later?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you then.
All right, who's next? We got somebody
But you
back.
got to wait in line.
Hi, I'm Steven. My question is there anything you can tell us about Machete Kills in Space?
Hey, Robert is doing that now. Are you kidding? Hold on.
Robert's blowing you up right now about it. Don't talk about the movie. It's top secret. Machete's on next.
He answered the phone. Everybody yell, let's do 3.
Put in a speaker. Do part 3 on 3.
That was cool.
Hey Danny, how's it going? I was just wondering, what are some of the other ventures that you'd like to get in? I know Robert has his band Chingon. Would you do a song with them, or maybe continue Machete's story in like comic book form, or something like that? Would you be interested in doing anything like that?
I'm interested in doing anything that's fun. You know what I mean? It's like, it's one of the reasons my kids love me so much. You know, come up with a good idea, we'll do it. You know what I mean? It's like, like right now, I've gotten a couple of singers. I got this one little singer called Baby D, this little rapper, and her story is amazing. She won a contest rapping, but her and her mom hitchhiked from Los Angeles to the San Fernando Valley, which is about, I guess, like about 45-minute drive, you know, but it's hard on a bus. And they were women living in a battered women's shelter, and she won. And I started, you know, just talking to her. She told me where she was. Come on, so I got a friend of mine, Kid Frost. Some of you might remember, a rapper, an old rapper. So we're getting ready to cut an album with her, and that's kind of cool, you know. And then I another little singer from South Africa that's singing. So, you know, I I just do whatever put in front of me. I don't care what it is. You know? Thank you.
All right, who else?
It's a lady.
This isn't really a question. This is me saying thank you. I used to work in animal welfare, and I know you're a pit bull advocate. Most big burly guys do not go, oh yeah, pit bulls deserve to be respected. I respect that for you because most guys don't say that. They just want to keep on training them to be attackers.
Pit bull is probably the most misunderstood breed there is. You know, if you see a mean pit bull, look at the owner. You know what I mean? Because they're like love, man. It's like I got 5 dogs at home right now. I just love dogs, and I have a Rottweiler pit bull mix that like can spell. If you spell cookie, he'll start barking. If you spell hot dog, he'll start barking. And you say, you ask him, you like John Wayne? You'll just go crazy, start barking like this. So, you know, it's like, I love animals, and it was, you know, we brought them in out of the cold, you know, invited them to our fire, and so they're our responsibilities, that's all about it.
I was going to ask, did you ever see Machete actually becoming a movie? Because I know it was first a trailer for the Grindhouse films, and then everyone was like, yes, that needs to be a movie.
I saw Machete as the Lego guy, and then we did a commercial for Brisk Tea. I think that's still out. Like, you know, funny. And then I washed my hands, and that was a ride. It's been a wild ride. Machete's been awesome. I think I would have loved that movie even if I wasn't in it. You know what I mean? It was a great movie. Question.
Great, who else?
All the way in the back. Here we go.
Hi, Danny. I have to be the guy to ask, but what was it like seeing your decapitated head in Breaking Bad?
Hey, they've used that head in a couple other movies and I get paid. So cool. In fact, I was supposed to get that, and I guess they're using it, so it's like, it's okay, Mom. They keep sending a check. My agent said, hey, do you want to do a Hollywood first? And I said, what? He said, your head will go across the desert in a tortoise. I said, has anybody else ever did it? No. Okay, we'll do it. So I got it first.
We got time for 2 more questions.
All right, here we go. It's getting a little windy.
You're the windy city.
Chicago ain't a misnomer.
Between Machete and Machete Kills, what was your favorite stunt?
Between Machete and
Machete Kills.
Kissing Amber Heard.
My question is, as a father and an animal lover, is there any certain type of role you would never do?
Well, I won't do a role where the bad guy gets away. You know what I mean? If you notice that, every time I'm the bad guy, I get killed. You know, because that's kind of, the message that you want to give. You don't want to like get away with something, because then all of a sudden you're like this heroic guy this bad guy that got away. You know, so. Because a lot of times I've been asked, you say this and say this, but all the characters you play have to do with drugs and bad. Like, yeah, and I die. I think, oh yeah, so bad guy always dies. They were cool. They're awesome. The guys, I gotta tell you, man, that's one of the reasons that show is so popular. Is because of the way the cast is just intermingled. They're like buddies, and every time you get like actors that want to be like bad guys, that acting like bad guys, they like try to be bad guys, and you want to slap them. And these guys know, no, we're Hollywood, you know. So it's like fun to work with them. It's not like you're getting called all kind of dirty names at lunch because they have to stay in character. They understand that this is we're not real bad guys. There's a couple of them that are the real deal. You know what I mean? And, I got a really good friend of mine, Rusty. He's like 6'7", the new guy, the new tall biker, right? He's really a good dude. Shut your mouth. So yeah, some of them are really cool, but they're all like really nice guys. Got another question? That's all.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
We got time for one more.
Great, go for it.
Oh, it's actually really back to Machete Kills, Banana Space. Can I be in it?
Hey, be in Austin, Texas. Thank you guys all. Give it up for Danny Trejo.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Mr. Michael Exler, Mr. JC,
Shishelsky.